Hi everybody, it's me again. So I have kind of taken a breather, got some fresh air, and it's still beautiful outside. It's almost warm enough here to wear shorts. But in some places in the United States right now, and all over the world, it's winter. And if it's not winter, it's still kind of cool to have your garden planted. So I have my garden planted, but I also have a lot of things planted inside. So sometimes it's kind of hard when you really want your garden to grow and you get kind of impatient and you just are tired of waiting for your garden to grow. So sometimes it's kind of fun to make your own garden. So we are going to use pool noodles to make our garden. So if you don't have a pool noodle right now, don't worry about it. You could still draw flowers along with us and think about the gardens that you want to make. Maybe make a special garden for mom or grandma. And it's kind of fun. So we'll get started. And some of you, if you watched my live feed yesterday, or were looking at my live feed yesterday, you saw we had pool noodles out in the backyard. And I was talking about how you can, they're really cheap. They're at the dollar store right now. So we're going to cut off a couple of orange pool noodles. And we're going to do a couple different things with these. First, we're going to make some of them into orange flowers. And we're going to stick them in a flower pot. And I'm going to show you how to make the leaves in just a second. Whoop, come back. Now, if you use the pool noodles that have like the little ridges in them, they look even cooler. They look even more like little flowers. So this is going to be one of the flowers in my garden. Give me that one, Jamie.
Aw, my hat. And it's just going to slide into frame.
And you can also do little snips in the side of these. Cutting out little triangles. And you're going to want paper plates. I have a plastic lid here, one of those crazy little plastic shoe boxes. Anything will work, but you need it big enough so that you can dip your pool noodle flower in your paint. Now, depending on the kind of paint you're using, you can actually do this on a window. Make a garden in your front window. I will give you a hint to help you make it so it's easier to clean off. And you can actually almost peel it off if you use like a paint scraper. If you use a paint scraper, you can, if you add some dish detergent to the paint before you paint on the window, when you're ready to take the paint off, you can use the paint scraper. Okay, so today, for my flowers today, my flowers are going to be, this is actually called purple iris. How appropriate, we're making flowers. So this is my purple. And this is pink. This is actually called fuchsia, which is another kind of flower.
What is it?
Fuchsia.
So.
There is a kind of flower called fuchsia. This is called yellow flame. I don't think of it. We'll call this daisy. And this one is called apricot, which is a fruit, which comes from a seed, which had to have a blossom, so it's all good.
Isn't that a type of orange?
An apricot is actually a cross, I think, between an orange and something else. I'm not sure. One of my friends out there will be able to tell me, I'm sure. And
I eat a lot of oranges.
This is ocean green, but I like ocean green. So I'll just throw a little bit of that on there.
Seaside flowers.
There you go, I like that. And some flowers are white. We'll see if we can actually get some of the white out. It was hard last week to get some of the white out of this jar, but we'll see.
Shake it. Shake it till it gets hot.
Where's my art table? It's gonna get messy. It's
Dink.
okay. Okay, so the white actually came out of the jar.
Yay. Into the lavender. But...
Yeah. Okay. So here's my paper. But like I said, this is so cool. You could do it on anything. Hopefully you'll cut a nice even piece here. And you're just going to dip it into your paint. I hear birds chirping outside. And press it on your paper. Ha ha. Pool noodles are awesome. You can do so many things. They're so versatile. I love playing with pool noodles.
Ta-da.
I know, right? And I'm using the same stamp over and over again. I don't have to wash it. Oops, that one got a little weak. Oh, press that a little more on that. Ooh, I like that one.
No. And very tie-dye.
Go figure.
No.
The cool thing about this is, now that I'm done with this stamp, I'm going to put my skewer through it. And help my garden grow over here. You can see we've got some plants coming up in Jamie's flower pot. Oops, what's that? There we go. And the round ones. You can do the round ones too. I could do this all day.
You probably would.
You know what? I think I might decorate our mailbox with these. You know what else you could do? You could use blue with just the plain round ones. And they could be like, or white on a blue background. They could be clouds.
Ooh, imagine now adding these to the landscape we made last week.
Adding these to the landscape?
Yeah, because...
We did do a landscape.
Yeah, kind of. It was on the ocean, and there was the nighttime.
So, and that's one way to use your pool noodles to make a bouquet. You could get different colored pool noodles too. But you know, we did for our music class, we learned the parts of a flower. Now these flowers obviously are not going to have roots, right? Because they didn't really grow. But right now they have a flower stem, but what are they missing?
Leaves.
Leaves. Well, moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, children of all ages. This is not a sponsored product, but I'm giving you an idea, something to do when you're stuck inside and you have no paper to color on, but you want something to do art on, and the kids need something to do. To begin with, if you have older kids, you can turn this box into a solar oven and make s'mores or pizzas or warm up hot dogs on a sunny day anyway. To do a solar oven, you basically take your cereal box and cut it like open like this with a hatch. Actually, you have to do this. Okay, and then you close this back up. So you take tape and close this back up. And then what you want to do is take aluminum foil and put aluminum foil along the inside of this box everywhere. Just coat the inside with aluminum foil. Put your hot dogs or whatever else you want to warm up in there. You could probably melt cheese in there. You can't bake in here because it doesn't get hot fast enough.
We have an answer. An apricot is a hybrid of a plum.
That's what I was thinking. Thank you. Who answered that for us?
Amber.
Amber. Thanks, Amber. I knew it was a hybrid of something. I couldn't remember what. So anyway, thanks. So you can put aluminum foil in here. Marshmallows, not so much, but you can melt the chocolate in here. And then put saran wrap over the top to close it up tight. If you want to take like a meat thermometer and stick it in the corner so you can check the temperature inside your solar oven, and then just put it in a sunny area or put it out we put ours out on the driveway and cooked hot dogs for lunch one time. So anyway, use the inside of your cereal boxes. They're pretty plain and they're nice and sturdy to paint on. So I am actually going to paint white on this. So I have a nice solid background. This is one of those, you might want to do that ahead of time parts. And it's okay, I'm going to mix a couple other colors in. Remember, this is just going to be the background color, so that when we cut our leaves out for our bouquet, now if you want to use plain white paper, that's fine too. I'm running out of my watercolor paper, and a lot of places are running out of watercolor paper too. I think as people are stuck at home, they're looking for more and more things that they forgot that they wanted to do and try and learn and stuff. And so I think people are returning back to being creative, which I think is exciting. And just doing things with their kids. So this is looking pretty thick and pretty dry. And you'll see, like, the cardboard is not... It's warped, it's bent a little bit because it's got water on it, and it's, and cardboard. So now what you can do is use one of your skewers and draw your leaves. Now leaves are kind of an oval shape, but they have points. So I'm going to start with kind of drawing my oval shape and adding a V on each end. And then I'm going to put a line down the middle. So there's my leaf. Now if you wanted to, you could go ahead and put the veins on the leaves. Because the lines on the leaves actually help the leaf feed it, the whole entire part of the leaf. So I'll draw another one. Make an oval. Add a V. And then draw your vein from tip to tip of your leaf. And all the little veins in between. Okay. Now at this point you have a couple of different choices. You could paint the leaves green. You could let this dry, and if you have littler ones, you could let the little ones finger paint the green. Trying to find a couple different green paints here. We have a leaf green here. Is it leaf green? There's grass green. Turquoise green.
I think some of them are starting to bud.
Yeah. No, maybe. I don't know. Oh, that's the seed at the top of it. It brought the seed. It's growing so strong and so fast. It brought the seed with it.
That's nice.
So these are different colors, colored greens. And I'm going to go ahead and pull my little palette out for this. So believe it or not, these are all different tiny little bits of green. And you could use Q-tips to paint with. You could use food color. Ooh, that's a pretty green. That's a really pretty leaf green.
His name is Phil. Because he's green, it's chlorophyll.
Oh, Jamie. Bum. For all my big kids. And parents. Okay, I'm going to get a teeny tiny little brush out so I can use all three colors. And I'm going to get my towel. So I can blot. And I'm not a big fan of washing unless I'm going with a totally different color paint, I'm not a big fan of washing my brush out between colors because I think that adds texture. So there's kind of a dark green on my vein on my leaf. And I love this because leaves are so different. Nature doesn't usually like straight lines anyway. So it's okay. if the lines are jiggy-jaggy. And it's okay for moms and dads to let their kids make lines that are jiggy-jaggy.
Nature doesn't like straight lines.
No, nature doesn't. That's a human thing. I am going to outline my leaf, especially if I have little ones doing this. I'm going to outline my leaf so that later on, if you have friends visiting, or if you wanted to cut these out later, but if you have kind of school-agers that are kind of helping do your projects with your littler ones, I know I have a friend, my friend Sierra has a 7-year-old. So 7-year-olds would really be helpful for some of these projects. So there's some darker green. And this is a different kind of green, and we'll see. Oh, look. This is a green that doesn't have as many blues in it.
That looks nice. I like that.
Yeah. It's kind of a natural kind of look, because, leaves, depending on where a leaf is on the tree, and how the air is, or how the sun is shining through a leaf. These are almost little letter C's. So if you want to tie in, what is the alphabet with what you're doing, or if you've been working on letter C this week or last week, because I know a lot of people, even homeschoolers, take a spring break. Down there a little. There you go. I kind of like those. And one more light green.
Ooh, I like that green.
You like that green?
Yeah.
And I'm just coloring over where we had some more white. The white's pretty dry, that's why it's not really mixing in much, which is good. In a second, I'm going to get really messy hands cleaning paint, because I'm going to go ahead and do the next step without letting it dry. You actually could probably do the leaf step before you do the flower step. How's that, Jay? Does that look like a leaf?
Yeah.
Instead of a big green eyeball. Dot,
Yeah,
dot, 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 blot, blot, blot. Dot,
Remember,
dot, dot, blot, 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 dot, 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 blot, 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 blot.
I was about to go into my story time with my many memories of leaves. Back in my day.
Back in your day. Oops. There's some light that decided to wake up on me here.
Beep, beep,
This is
beep.
not Bob Ross.
You're right, you don't have a squirrel in your pocket. He put a squirrel in his pocket so he could look at the...
Okay. This one, I just kind of want to wash that one. I kind of like that, how that turned out.
That looks nice. They kind of look like closed eyeballs. Mother Nature... Justice is blind? No, Mother Nature is.
Well, I kind of like how they're all blending together. I'm a very big fan of the Impressionists, can you tell? I think I'm going to make one more leaf, though. Because I do have 3 flowers over there. How are we going to do this? Going to make an oval. Oops, my white paint is dry. And then I'm going to make a V on each end. So let me start with my dark green again. So we can get the outline here. Ooh, that's a skinny little leaf. I might have to use that for the middle of my leaf. There we go.
Oh, that looks nice. Leaves are all shapes and sizes.
They are. I'm flying by the leaf of my pants. Of my plants. Oh, bad. I know. What can I say?
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
There you go. I think on that one use some more darker greens, because the other two are pretty light.
Medium green?
Yeah. Because it's like we have the really light one,
The
the darker one, and then...
super dark one.
Yeah.
They're also getting bigger.
Yeah. Shape, sizes, colors. Not blue. I've never seen a blue leaf before.
There are some pine needles that look kind of
Oh,
blue.
yeah.
Okay, I'm done with these. Because if not, I'll just keep going all day.
Yeah,
Okay.
please don't.
So, Time has passed. All the paint is dry. Your leaves are nice and dry. You've had lunch. You've gone for a walk in the rain.
Wow, it really was raining.
It's just kind of sprinkling when I came out.
Really?
So,
sorry.
I'm trying to cut this so that you can kind of see it. Yes, for those of you that know I'm a lefty, I'm cutting with right-handed scissors because it's out of necessity for the most part. So I have my scrap. Now remember, almost if you look at the scrap, my friends, you could almost make more leaves out of there. You know, if you, if you look at it that way, you could make some smaller leaves out of there. So you could make tons of leaves and then you could glue them to your art. Maybe we'll do that next.
Infinite leaves.
Infinite leaves. You could make a jungle. So, I have my stem. I'm going to
Not
stab myself. You could probably use like a safety pin or something to do this, which would probably be safer than how I'm doing it. Yeah, I'm not getting through there without that.
So let's go to the scissors. Turn to the nerd.
Well, you don't want a very big hole because you don't want them to slide down. Ooh, hey, I made a print. That works.
Printing press.
Oh, my thumb got stuck on my paint. Now my leaf is all messed up.
Hey, leaves aren't
Important
perfect.
safety tip. Make sure your leaf is dry before you put the holes in it.
And you wear your safety glasses.
And wear your safety goggles. Jamie.
Sorry, before they canceled, we were working on safety a lot.
Okay, so there's my leaf, minus the paint that's on my thumb.
That part of the leaf really is part of the bark. So.
Okay, so let's take one of our flowers.
I like that.
And we'll put it on here.
It's waving.
So now our flowers have leaves. And I'm going to let this paint dry on this cardboard because it doesn't work as good as I wanted it to. So
I really only need one example. So
yeah.
bada bing, bada boom.
So now I have these little leaves though. And I'm going to make paint some more little leaves. Where'd my brush go? Well, this isn't the brush I was using. It is now. Again, you could use markers, you could use crayons, you could use thumbprints, you could use, it'd be really fun to use, would be to take newspaper or wrapping paper, whatever you have around the house. Remember, there's no wrong answers in art. And I cut out some more leaves. Oh, we could glue those right to that.
Music provided by me. Dun, 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 dun.
So, there you have how to make some leaves and how to make some flowers out of pool noodles. And I really I love the pool noodle flowers. One year we made pool noodle flower arrangements for our moms. For our Mother's Day tea. We used to have a Mother's Day tea. And so we use those for our moms for our Mother's Day tea. Okay, now if I can track down. What's left of my watercolor paper real quick. We're going to do a crayon resist. Jamie.
What?
What happened to my watercolor paper? I just had it.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Where did you put it?
I do not know. I got efficient. I put things away and got efficient, and now I can't find them.
Stand by, everybody.
It's around somewhere.
I'll get the keychains.
Oh, I found it. It's all good.
Yay.
Yay.
We have found the paper.
Yes. And I have water there. I just need to find my little water cups. Never a dull moment when you're doing a live stream.
So, how's your guys' day going? Polite
JD
conversation. I'll be the time killer.
You're gonna be the. Oh, there's my. Some of you may recognize this plastic container is our rain gauge from last week. But it is what it is. We're getting creative here.
We always do.
Okay, so I wanted to explain to you how watercolors work. Okay, watercolor paper is it's cold pressed. It has to do with the process of actually making the paper and you making the pulp into being resistant. So that's one reason that I talk a lot about watercolor paper. Now, when you go to the store and get your handy dandy watercolors, or if Grandma and Grandpa have decided to inflict revenge upon you and have decided that, hey, let's get the grandkids watercolor paint so that they can make a mess in Mom and Dad's room the way they used to make a mess for us. Watercolor paint, even the inexpensive ones are cool. But you need to kind of know how they work. And it helps if I can find my straw. My orange straw from last week.
It's right there.
Oh, let me go grab that now too. Watercolor paints don't activate until they're wet.
See, I can just.
And what I mean by activate is, if they're not wet, nothing's gonna happen. Okay?
Even with me.
Jamie. So, before you let your children paint, like while they're getting their dirt shirts on or their smocks, you want to use a little, just 2 or 3 drops of water in each pot. You don't really want to go less than that because it won't activate the paints enough. And you really don't need to flood the whole pot. If you let the kids do it, they'll put so much water in each pot that they will overlap each other. You don't want the pots overflowing because then it will overflow and you will get a hot mess. So, while you're talking, while you're letting the paint set up, you can get out your handy dandy crayons. Now, it depends if you want your buildings to be tall or if you want your buildings to be short. We've kind of been using short buildings today. So, we want to draw our horizon. And horizon is where your sky meets the ground. But we're going to draw it really lightly. Okay. Now comes the really fun part. You want to find light colored crayons. They don't even have to be expensive crayons. They can be the cheapy ones, wherever. I will give you a heads up though. If you use cheaper crayons that are not made in the USA, those crayons tend to have a larger lead content. Because other countries' restrictions and those countries don't have as many safety guidelines as we tend to have them here in the United States for children's equipment and so forth. So that's just a little tip. I'm not saying don't buy the cheapy crayons. By all means, whatever you use, what you got. I'm going to use some yellows. Don't have any pinks. I have a pink. Okay. Oh wait, I have a little bit of a pink. It's kind of pinky.
Yay.
So I'm going to use some like tulipy kind of colors. And I'm going to use my green again later on. But really, you want to fill your entire, and I'm actually going to move my horizon up. And I'm going to draw some grass, some glumps of grass. And it's okay if these are just scribbly looking glumps of grass, because we are going to cover the whole thing with color in just a bit. Kind of what we did with the markers last week. And you want to leave a little space for I'm going to move my watercolors out of the way. But I'll leave a space so you can rotate the paper. We're going to draw really simple flowers. And usually flowers have the center part because it's where the bugs and the bees need to get their nectar from and their pollen. And then one of the things that attracts them, yellow is one of their favorite colors. Now, you'll notice how hard I'm pressing down on these. Remember, we're going to do a watercolor wash over them. So moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas, while your littles are doing their flowers and painting, you could probably go get some plain water so that you can do a watercolor wash with them. And you can check on the watercolors that we just... Now, we're going to make it look like a super blooming garden, and we're going to make all kinds of different flowers. So now that I use that color for the outside of the flowers, it's going to become the inside color of some flowers. And it's okay if our colors run into each other in just a second. And let's make some brighter petals on these flowers. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear it out the window. I'm going to make very big flowers so this doesn't take like forever. Oh, there's some more yellow dots. Remember, you want to color nice and hard on the crayons. Moms and dads, I'm going to give you another tip too. As you're working with a preschooler or early elementary, it's really better for you to break these crayons in half. It's better motor control, and it actually is it's a pre-writing skill. So I'm going to make some more beautiful flowers all over my picture, and this time I'm going to use a light orange for these flowers. Remember, I'm going to draw nice and hard and nice and dark. I think my watercolors are about ready to go here. Now, you don't have to use the brush that's with the watercolor set. Where's another dot? Oh, I didn't put a lot of dots on here. Oh, thanks, Jay.
Hand into frame, hand out of the frame. Bada bing, bada boom.
Exactly. Oh, look, I have a crayon called Goldenrod.
Do it.
Goldenrod, I'm allergic to you, though, in real life. Goldenrod's a hard plant. I don't know a lot of people that aren't allergic to goldenrod. Oh, that yellow that I was using is dandelion. So I'm using dandelion and goldenrod. Hey. Ooh, that's going to be pretty when I start putting other colors behind it. Does your paper look like a garden exploded yet? I hope so.
Yours does. Uh-oh. It came out the other end.
Yep, and if your crayon comes out the other end, guess what? Here's the other end. Some of these are so old. I don't even know how old some of these are. Okay. So, there's my garden. Now, I'm going to clean my brush.
That looks pretty cool.
It's a pretty green right there.
Do not
and
drink
I have
it.
a towel. Yes, important safety tip from Jamie. Do not drink it.
If you see any kind of water that looks like this color, don't drink it.
Yeah, if it comes out of your sink, especially. I'm going to wash this brush off, though, too. Oh, look, more green and white.
Now, if it looks like this and you get it from McDonald's,
no.
it's a Shamrock Shake, and those are delicious. Not sponsored.
Yeah.
Let's put that quick disclaimer in there.
Okay, now, when you blot your towel, if it's clean, you know your brush is clean. Now, it's watercolor paper, so we're going to put some water on the paper. And I'm just gonna, if you look, you can kind of see the colors are starting to pop a little bit. And because this is towards the top of my horizon line, I am going to take some blue. And where I just put the water, I'm going to put some blue. But this is my garden, so I might decide to add some other colors, like some green. And I might want to color around some of these. Oh,
Ooh.
the green went into the red. I
Uh-oh.
forgot to clean my brush. That's okay. I'll clean it this time. Put some orange. Ooh. A little more orange paint on there. My orange watercolor is not a great... Oh, there we go. There's some orange on there. And how about red? Add a little red. Add some water. And that flower's going to be red. I haven't used any purple yet. How's that? Be my echo. And how about a little yellow to make it a beautiful sunny day? And put some yellow by the purple color flowers, because the purple and yellow are opposite colors, so they are really going to make each other's. Look at that purple flower just really stand out there. I love doing watercolor resist flowers. It's one of the first projects, and actually this is from Girl Scouts. I learned how to do this for my art badge, probably. I really like how that purple looks on there. And it's one of the first times I was ever complimented for doing something creative. My teachers, art teachers at school never got it. Like, they never understood. But for some reason, this project, when I was in Girl Scouts, really made me happy. And I did a good enough job that I got it included in a art show. A Jamboree art show. I know, Troop Zero is coming back to my head here. There. I need one more color down there. I'm not sure what to do. Maybe I'll do a green down there. Just because there isn't very much green anywhere else in the picture. I like doing two process art projects. 2 or 3 projects. Ooh, look at those colors are just blending together so beautifully. So that's my watercolor resist garden. And here's my pool noodle garden. Oh, I had some watercolor.
Someone's granddaughter is watching and sending emojis to you.
Aw, I hope you're having fun. Are you having fun? Making a garden? Oh, that's turning out pretty good. I like this. I like the texture on this, and texture is an element of art. So for those of you that are in school already, you can tell your art teachers that you're learning the elements of art with Miss Shannon on her live feed. You know what else would be fun to do is on some of these circle pool noodle plants, you could actually glue like real seeds, like real sunflower seeds or acorns or seeds. So you could put the acorn caps in there. moms and dads, keep an eye on that watercolor paint and see if, if it needs more water in it to constitute the paint. Remember, you don't want to put too much in that pot. Otherwise, it'll overflow into other pots. Now, this is not watercolor paper, so it's going to soak in and soak through. So you might want to put something down behind it or underneath it. And the other thing that I like to do with my art classes is these are all things that that you could do anytime. And there's no wrong answer. Just have fun. Be together and have fun. Especially right now. This is the time to be together and have fun. Ooh, I love the pool noodle tie-dye noodle. And I'm sure you guys can find out. It'd be really cool if any of you do some of these projects. If you want to send me pictures of your results and how they turned out for you, that'd be great. And again, if there's something you guys need or don't know how to source or whatever. See, this is the problem with not using watercolor paper. It's like soaking through the back.
You're coloring the table too. Extra.
And I'm coloring the table. Woo, beautiful. Again, last week when we were using the markers and we put water over the markers turned into watercolor too. So that was kind of fun. This dotting part you could do with a sponge. You could do it with a piece of leftover pool noodle. So there's my other garden. Ooh, I need to put the middle of those. I need to make some centers for those flowers yet. Purple.
Dad's favorite color.
I don't know how many times I tell the kids, don't press down on your brushes, and what am I doing?
Teachers never practice what they preach, so...
I know.
Urinals, so...
You could do this part first. That's okay. It's art. It's impressionistic art. Just do it a little bit. Just press down a little bit. Just a little twist.
And show.
It gives you the impression that the center of the flowers are there. Okay, that turned out really cool too. So I got we did two really well. Lots of really fun projects. I really like how these turned out. And like I said, if you get multiple color noodles, those turn out well too. So I hope you have a fun day. I hope you have a chance to make your own indoor gardens today. This one turned out really pretty.
I like that one more.
You like this one?
No, this one.
You like the watercolor resist? That's a fun one. And it's really fun if you fill up the whole page with the flowers and then do the watercolors behind it and watch them spread. So, then, okay, a little more watercolor
etiquette.
Watercolor, how to survive with watercolors. You need to let them set out to dry, which is kind of the hardest part for the kids because they want to go back and paint more. So, really, it's just kind of put it up high where the kids can't reach it. Leave them open to let them dry, and then they'll last. They won't turn into one big muddy mess. And it really is a matter of keeping an eye and reminding the children in between to colors to wash their brush. And I will teach you a really fun little song to do that with next week. So, I think that's all the gardening things we were going to do for art today. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a lot. And go and have fun. Make art. And, don't stop here. If you come up with some other way to make your flowers 3-dimensional or whatever, have fun. Pass them along. Share them with each other. And share time together today. Because kids grow really fast. Do you think these seeds grow really fast? Kids grow up even faster still. So, everybody enjoy your day, and I will see you tomorrow for Tinker Day. So we're going to do some sciencey stuff. Tomorrow we're going to take a break from gardens, and we're going to tinker with rocks tomorrow and talk about rocks. I know. And I'm going to share some really fun books that can give you some really fun ideas of things to do with rocks. So you guys have a great afternoon. Go have some really healthy lunch. Have some fun with your gardens. And we'll see you tomorrow at 10:30. Bye.